Hi, I'm Sarah Stife, and this is my new book, Embracing the Journey. I'm going to read to you the introduction to my book just to give you an idea of what it's about. This is a collection of essays that I have written over the last 7+ years on my blogs, and I put them all together so that we could talk about what it means to endure change of all kinds and to learn how to accept things when they don't quite go the way we planned them. I started blogging shortly after I started graduate school. It wasn't like I had a lot of time. I was teaching and going to class and parenting a baby and a toddler. My husband Jeff and I had bought a fixer-upper that we had already started renovating. We were 2 years into making big changes, and I discovered I was well behind blogging as a communication medium. When our family moved from Fort Wayne to Texas, I dropped my Frazzled Reflections blog on Blogger and moved to a more sophisticated WordPress account. The new blog became a dumping ground for all of my thoughts, concerns, fears, and triumphs. In the 7 years since I started that second blog and then moved it to another platform, I have written about faith, family, travel, and politics. While I sometimes deviate from the original intent to talk about the unexpected journey, I keep coming back to it because it is the theme of my life. My most consistently popular writings have been my many posts about camping and our family travel adventures, and that is to be expected. After all, in the algorithms of internet writing, the people make clear what they want, posts that tell them about the places that they want to travel to. But writing has always been my go-to for processing the realities of life, and my blog has always been where I could do that publicly. Even when I was writing about camping with my family, the pieces that mattered the most to me were the ones where I dug into my soul and got honest, first with myself and then with anyone who was willing to listen. I eventually realized that with over 300 blog posts from nearly a decade of writing on the internet, I might actually have enough to put in a select few pieces into a single book of essays reflecting on the journey. I wanted a collection of my writings that would show the evolution of a woman who is so many things: wife, mother, teacher, sister, and friend. I wanted to capture my growth over the 7-year period after we moved to Texas, a period of my life when I finally learned what it was to be me. I learned to listen to the work instead of making the work become what I wanted it to be. I surprised myself as I read words I hadn't considered in years, particularly regarding our move from Fort Wayne to Houston. I realized just how much of the emotional journey repeated itself 6 years later, even though the reasons for moving and our family's overall response were so different from what they had been when we were younger, fresher, and slightly more naive. So much would happen over the 6 years that we lived in Texas, both to us and to our country, that I marveled at how much of what I wrote still held true for me. The revision process wasn't just about making the original better or truer to who I am today. It took me on a journey through the past to where I am now. While I touch on how my life was impacted by living through a global pandemic, I left most of those reflections for another time and space. Those words were meant for the moments in which they were written. While I touch on my faith and politics, two issues that have gotten occasional time on all of my blogs over the past decade, I also leave most of my reflections on my journey of faith and political beliefs for another time and hopefully another book. This book is about growing up in the middle age. It's about finding a place to belong over and over again. It's about figuring out what kind of mother I want to be and the dreams I have for my children. And it's about finding healing when it feels like I was broken beyond repair. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I hope you will see a little of yourself learning to accept and embrace a journey often out of our individual control. And you can get Embracing the Journey on Amazon in paperback, hardcover, and ebook. Hope you join me. Thanks.